Hey everybody, thank you for coming back for part 3 of my journey. The last one, I'm sorry, was kind of all over the place. I had been very tired, um, and I wasn't feeling very well for about a week there. But I'm feeling much better. I've been very happy, very positive, I've had a lot of energy, which is good. I'm trying to get back into the groove of things because I think I let stressors of life kind of get to me, and it was kind of, taking over me physically as well as mentally. So I'm feeling really good. Been in a very good mood, been very bubbly, so it's been nice. Today I think I'm going to focus on depression, anxiety, and also how the events that occurred during my marriage affected our 2 children. Um, I'll start there, I guess. And remember, this is my part of the story, and this is what I remember and I recall to be accurate as possible and true as possible. And please don't say names in the comments if you do comment. All right, so I guess what the worst part of the whole thing was I didn't see how everything that was going on was affecting our 2 children. Our son was having a lot of issues, but he has ADD and he has autism, high functioning autism. He has a sensory disorder and he has anxiety as well. He was in middle school when things started to get really, really bad, and he started to struggle. I think it was a mixture of home life and school life. At school, he was being bullied, and the school wasn't doing anything about it. From 6th grade to the was that middle of 7th grade? Yeah, middle of 7th grade, I believe it was. Yeah, it was middle of 7th grade. He was struggling with a bully situation, and the school was the easiest thing to do was to suspend our child or put him in school suspension instead of dealing with the problem. I told them that there was a lot of things going on at home, and to please have their patience with him, because children, they react differently to what's going on. They're going to bring it to school because they're stressed out at home, and then they're stressed at school. He never got a break from the stress. And to this day, I will always, always feel bad for him and feel guilty for not realizing that. But I was also depressed at the time, so, I didn't see it. And I feel really bad, but he's doing so much better these days. We got him into a routine, and we got him straightened out, and he has responsibilities and he has rules and everything, and he's a totally different child. He's so much happier. He is no longer riddled with anxiety. I mean, obviously once you have anxiety, it doesn't just like disappear. So he still has his days where he gets anxious, but it's better than it used to be. He no longer has stomach aches. He no longer has the riddling headaches that he was getting. He has childhood migraines, so he will have migraines for the rest of his life. He's had them since he was about 3 or 4. He's on medication for it, but he doesn't get them as often as he used to. He is making friends. He is socializing. He's just the kid that I remember he used to be. And he's probably even better than before. And it's just great. I am so, so proud of him and how much he's changed. Anybody who knows our son, they understand. So, but he was having constant stomach aches before going to school. I think he was begging to stay home at certain points. So, because he knew that I think he was afraid if I was alone, something would happen. I'm not sure. I just got a vibe from him that he was trying to protect me, and that wasn't his job. But he is a sensitive child, so but he was having the stomach aches, and he was not going to school a lot, and a lot of it was my depression. When you're depressed, you have zero energy. You are an empty shell. And my favorite time of the days were sleeping, because sleeping was my escape. It was the one time I knew I didn't have to deal with anything. Even when I had started to get bouts of insomnia, and I was desperate for sleep, and the doctors didn't want to give me anything addicting, and but nothing was working. So when I finally got some medicine to help me that worked at sleep, it was amazing. But when I would take my son, I would get up, take my son to school, because I take him to school, drop him off, come home, and beg our daughter, please, can we just sleep for like another hour or two? Can we just sleep? And sometimes she would just sit next to me, and I would doze off because I'm a super light sleeper, so I'd hear her. because sleep was my favorite thing when I was depressed. I didn't like leaving the house because, I don't know, I guess I just started to get some social anxiety, and I still have some, but I also didn't like being home. I was like stuck in between a rock and a hard place. Being home was not my safe area. It was scary, it was depressing, it was full of anxiety, it was unhappiness, it was sadness, it was bitterness, it was anger, it was so many negative emotions. But leaving the house meant I gotta go out and be vulnerable, and I have to socialize with people I don't want to talk to. And I think the one of the greatest things that really did help me was my support system I did have. And then I met one of my best mommy friends. She knows who she is, so hopefully she watches. It is you, at a playgroup. And she definitely was one of the escapes that I needed. I had lost, I don't know, when I got depressed, I stopped talking to people because I didn't want them to be burdened with my emotions and my problems. If I felt like if I told people how I was feeling or what was going on or whatever, it was, oh, she's just being dramatic. It's not really happening to her or whatever. I didn't want to burden people with my problems, so I kept it to myself, but I also kept myself away from people. I constantly texted my sister. She's definitely one I could turn to. Then another one of my childhood friends, actually two of them were I could turn to. And then I met I call her my mommy best friend at a playgroup. And her daughter and my daughter are best friends as well now. But she definitely, our weekly get-togethers, and then we started getting together here and there more, were just the saving grace I needed, because I could go to her in person and be like, this happened, with very little detail, because obviously, as she knows, I kept so much to myself, but I could tell her, and I could walk into wherever we were meeting. If we were meeting at, a restaurant for the kids to play at, or the playground, or playgroup, it's like she'd walk in, and no matter how I was feeling before I got there, we seen each other, and it's pure happiness, because that was my person. She was my person that, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I had my people. I had my sister and my other best friends, but I guess it was something new I needed to know, that maybe I wasn't far gone. Like, because I fully believe that people didn't talk to me because they didn't want to deal with me. I mean, who'd want to deal with somebody who's depressed and full of anxiety all the time in a horrible, horrible marriage? And, I don't know. I just felt like nobody wanted to deal with me anymore. And it was also adding to my depression. It's like, I felt abandoned, but I knew that I caused them to abandon me, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. But that's how I was feeling. But I had found someone. I thought, okay, maybe I'm not that type of person. Maybe people still like me, but they're giving me my space. I don't know. And all the anxiety would go away too. But when we had to leave each other, it was like I was back to where I was at. Sometimes I would go home and I'd feel a little better because I had finally gotten out. My therapist had finally, said, here's your weekly goal. You need to get out once a week. Go to Walmart, go to the grocery store, go to somewhere. Find something to do that's you and your daughter, because my son was in school and my daughter was a baby, and get out. And that was a goal I had set for myself, and it was helpful. It was hugely helpful. So that was great. But, our daughter was too young to understand what was really going on. But this day, I'm starting to know how it did affect her. She's struggling really bad right now. She's having a lot of anger issues, outlashing, sass, which 5 years old, sass is normal. But I don't know. I sat down with her yesterday and we talked, and she told me some things about, her father and things she's experienced with him. So I'm hoping that as we do that more often, every week we sit down, play, and talk, she'll get more and more out of her. We explained, the more you keep in you, the angrier you're going to get. Mommy's talking to people now, even just, on her vlog, and it's making her feel better. And it is truly making me feel better, because I felt so guilty hiding things from people. I felt like I was lying to people, and I was trying to do my best just to protect everybody. I didn't want people to know exactly what I was going through, because, even though some of the stuff, I didn't know exactly what he was doing to me, but I knew what he was doing to me wasn't right. But, why was I don't know. I don't want my family to hurt more than they already did. I mean, the day I told my mother that he cheated on me, I remember I went to her house and I set my keys in the counter and I just lost it. And I said, I never thought I would go through something like this. And I was just shattered, just completely shattered on what happened. That was the second time he cheated on me, I'm sorry. And I was just shattered. I'm just like, how can this continue to go on? And my mother just hugged me. I mean, there's not much you can say. It's not much you can do. It's just, and it was comforting. It's just like, and then I looked at her, I said, where did I go wrong? What did I do? How do I fix this? Because I'm a fixer. I want everything to be okay. It was awful. I had never been so heartbroken up to that day. It was awful. Because I felt like as a wife I failed, and as a mother I failed. Because I caused their father and my then husband to go out and seek love elsewhere. And what reality is that I was not being loved, and I wasn't being comforted. I wasn't being taken care of properly when I exactly at that moment needed it the most. I was depressed. I had postpartum depression, and it was terrible. I mean, I had 2 different times I said, you know what, I'm just going to kill myself. I can't do this anymore. But I thought of my kids, and I also knew that I would inconvenience him by doing that, because then he'd have to deal with, them afterwards. And I didn't want to do that to my kids or my family. So, but it was awful. I was so alone. I'd never felt so alone in my life. It was like, depression is the loneliest place you can be, I believe. I truly feel it's the loneliest place you can be. I had never experienced it until I started, got depression and when I, started getting depressed and when I started having anxiety. I never understood it, the anxiety that sits on your chest like an elephant just sits there. And of course, as I told you in my previous video, mine comes with paranoia, anger, and guilt. And, for the years there, it was mostly paranoia. But now more comes with anger, because my therapist says you have so much anger in you. One day it's going to come out, and it may come out with the wrong person. So warn the people you love. And I've warned them, listen, if one day I just totally lose my crap, understand it's all the anger I've built up. It's nothing against you. It's just, she said, usually it'll be against someone that you feel safe with. So I'm good so far, but I'm having it come out a little bit here and there, especially during my anxiety or anxious moments. It comes out. And I always apologize because I feel like the biggest asshole. Sometimes it comes out towards the kids, and then I go and apologize to them because I don't like losing my crap with my kids. But, every mother does. But most mothers realize, I didn't mean to do that, let me go apologize. And that's what I do with my kids. I apologize. I'm starting, I got my son in a good place after everything's going on. He talks more. He expresses his feelings to us now and such. But I wish I can get my daughter in a good place, but she's 5 and it's difficult with a 5-year-old to understand what they're feeling. So we're hoping to get somewhere. Sometimes I wish I didn't put the kids through that, but I believe everything happens for a reason. So I think I did the best I could at the time with, what I was dealing with. I wasn't working because I had gotten laid off. The company I was working for closed. So in my head, I was like, well, if he stays also, I won't have to worry about how am I going to pay my bills and such. But the day that he left, I sat in my chair. As soon as he shut the door, I sobbed. And it wasn't sobbing. I wasn't sad because my marriage was officially over. I wasn't sad because he finally left. I was relieved that it was done. I mean, I sobbed and I sobbed, and it was tears of relief, because finally I had gotten the courage to finally make him go, and finally I was getting rid of the stress that was in my life. And as the weeks went on after he left, I realized I wasn't anxious anymore. My depression was getting better. I wasn't stressed all the time. Yeah, I had moments where I was worried, because what am I going to do with money? Actually, I got a great story with that. Though I don't know if it was the the week he left, I believe it was, I went to the grocery store. I had $17 in cash to my name, because there was nothing in the bank account. And I got to the checkout, and I thought to myself, $17, yeah. I thought to myself, I don't know the exact amount. Anyway, because I wrote it on my Facebook. I think it was like 17 bucks. But anyway, I got to the checkout, and I was just like, I hope I have enough for what I need. I need to get through until he decides, because later, I believe a couple days later, we discussed child support or whatever, until he pays me, his first child support payment for the kids. And I had enough, and I was grateful for it. I'm like, thank God, we'll make it till, next week. And the lady in front of me beforehand had turned around, and was putting her stuff in her purse or whatever. And I was getting ready to leave. She turned around, handed me her change from her 20 that she had gotten from, paying her bill. And she didn't have a lot. It was a really small bill. And then just goes, you need this. And then walked away. And I was like, and I just started crying because obviously, it had been a rough week. And I look at the person at the register who has tears in her eyes. And I said, she does not realize how badly I needed something like this to happen. And then I just said, my husband just left, and after cheating, whatever. My marriage just ended this week, and I have no money. And it was like, it was the most amazing thing ever. I've never had that happen before. And it just meant a lot to me. And I wish I could have said thank you, but she had gone on a flash, that she just took off. And, it was amazing. And I'll never, ever, ever forget that lady, and I'll always be grateful for what she did. She has no idea how much that meant to me, because I got something in my hair. It was just something that I had been needing, and I don't know. It was just amazing. I've never done that before. I try to pay it forward all the time, even, I have paid for, a couple dollars here and there if somebody was short or whatever in front of me. I'm sorry, this is going to drive me nuts. And, but it was amazing. So it was something I needed that week. But yeah, it was hard. But as the weeks went on, I felt better and better and better. And then one day I looked at my therapist and said, I think I'm ready to date. And she goes, you were ready to, your marriage ended years ago. So you go and you start finding love because you deserve love. Because I didn't feel like I deserved it. I thought, who would want to be with me? And that was my thought. Who's going to want to be with this and all of her baggage and all of her emotional problems? I don't know how to show my emotions anymore because I wasn't allowed to. They were invalid. They were wrong. I was crazy. I have a lot of things that I'm still dealing with. And, I dated a couple dudes, and then I met the one that I'm with now, and he is a godsend. He is so patient with me. He can bring me down from an anxiety attack where I used to have to do it on my own. And they had gotten, I'd never had one so bad I felt like I was going to pass out, but I've been there. And he's been able to get me down. He is so patient with me. He's patient with my, my inability to not really communicate very well. I keep a lot of things to myself. He's patient with the fact that I say sorry all the time. I've been conditioned to say I'm sorry because in my marriage I was made to feel guilty for everything. I always felt like I did everything wrong, so I apologize. I apologize for apologizing. That's how bad it is. He's patient with that. He's patient with the fact that I'll look at him almost every single day. It could be once a day, it could be 5 times a day, and go, are you mad at me? Because my anxiety says, hey, he hasn't talked to you in 30 minutes. You need to make sure he's not mad at you, because he probably is. And, I didn't think he would, anybody in this world would want to deal with that, and he does. He's patient. He never gets upset with me. He never gets frustrated with me. He never gets mad. He comforts me instead of saying, you're freaking crazy. I don't know why you think this crap. We laugh together. I mean, I haven't belly laughed before I met him in years. And then the first weekend we spent together, the first day oh my gosh, my abs were hurting. I was laughing so hard. And that hasn't changed almost a year and a half later. We still, every day we are cracking up about this dumbest stuff. I think I thought I was in love when I got married, but I know I'm in love now. It's different. It makes it, I look forward to getting up every day. I look forward to being able to come home if I'm somewhere. I look forward to every part of my day, of my week, of my life, because I am truly happy. My kids are happy. I'm happy. And that's what matters the most. They truly have a happy house now, a happy home, instead of one that is so riddled with negative emotions. My family jokes because I'm pretty sure my house is haunted. I truly believe in that. So we all hear things at the house at night. And I think it was my sister that said, well, they came out because there was so much negative energy there for a long time. They finally came out. So, you know, even the spirits that live in my house, which y'all may think I'm crazy, but at night we hear old time radio, we hear people walking down the hallway, we hear people talking, we hear talk radio. It's crazy. But anyway, they're even happy to come out now and just be free. So it's been a very rough road, and I'm not done with my story. I'm thinking maybe in a month or so, I'm gonna go on Facebook and I'll do questions and I'll answer any questions and stuff. As hopefully I'll get a bigger audience, so that, you know, if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask me. I want to get this out. I want people to know what I went through. I want people to be able to notice the signs of a toxic relationship, notice signs of emotional and mental abuse, because it is anybody who is narcissistic or manipulative, no, they got to start off slow. They feed on your strengths so they can weaken them. And that's something I seen this morning. I was like, oh yeah. So they will start off subtle and they will slowly bring it out. And some take years to come out, and some take, you know, decades. I don't know. It's subtle where you don't notice. They reel you in with love, false love, and they destroy every part of your being. And that's exactly what my ex-husband did. And he will never admit to it. He will never notice that he's done something wrong, and that's okay, that's on him. But I noticed the signs. My therapist has noticed the signs. I am realizing what he has done to me is not okay. And he needs to realize that it's not okay what he is doing to what he's done to me, to his children, and to all the other girlfriends that he has brought into his life. And I hope he finds happiness one day. I do truly hope he finds happiness one day. But he needs to work on himself before he can find any actual happiness and actual true love. But I am happy. I am in a great place. I found my soulmate at 35 years old, and I'm okay with that. I'm starting over, and I'm okay with that too. It is fine to be my age and finding love again and starting your life over again. And no one ever should feel bad about that. You find your true love when you find your true love. So, that's all I got for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back for part 4. Also today we're going to do a couple things on the vlog with the kids. So, you know, more of my mini brains. Yeah. So thank you for stopping by, and I hope to see you all next time.